Hello guys, this is your friend and Dark Fox 3.0. We are back with a new fanfic. Which is, what if Naruto became the forbidden temptation of Konoha's Kunoichi, Tsunade, Anko and Tayuya's dangerous desire? And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto Uzumaki, Konoha's #1 knucklehead and the world's most unpredictable ninja, was currently on his way to the hospital. He wasn't injured or anything like that, he just needed to find his sensei, Kakashi Hatake. The reason Naruto is looking for Kakashi is simple. Naruto was competing in the Chunin exams, and after 2 parts were finished, he was able to fight in the preliminary round and he defeated Kiba Inuzuka in a rather unorthodox fashion. All of the competitors were given a month off to prepare for the finals and he needed help. His opponent was none other than Neji Hyuga. Neji was a prodigy of the Hyuga clan and was slated as the best rookie genin. He brutally beat his cousin Hinata Hyuga due to his hatred of the main branch family, and Naruto vowed to beat him in the finals. Naruto knew he needed more than what he had for the finals, so who better to ask for training than his very own sensei? He made it to the hospital and figured he'd go to Sasuke's room since that's where Kakashi would be. "Hey, where's Sasuke's room?" Naruto asked the receptionist. "I'm sorry, Mr. Sasuke is not allowed to have visitors," the receptionist said. "What? No visitors? Are you kidding me?" Naruto asked. "Sorry, those are the rules," the receptionist said. "Come on lady, just let me go see him," Naruto said. "Naruto, this is a hospital. Keep it down," Kakashi said, walking up to him. "Kakashi-sensei, I am so glad to see you. I need a favor," Naruto said. "Stop right there. I already know what you're going to ask, so I've been looking for someone that can oversee your training for the final round," Kakashi said, and Naruto was not happy. "Why? Why can't you train me, sensei?" Naruto asked. "I have other matters to handle. I don't have the time to trouble myself with you." Kakashi SSID. "You're going to train Sasuke, aren't you?" Naruto asked. "Don't complain. Listen, I found you an even better teacher than me," Kakashi said. "But you're my sensei. I want you to train me," Naruto said, and he was barely containing his anger. "I can't. I'm busy," Kakashi said. "Yeah, busy training Sasuke like always. Who is this so-called teacher anyway?" Naruto asked. "It's me," Ebisu said, and Naruto turned around, then he completely lost it. "Him. This is Who you got to train me? You've got to be kidding me. Of all the guys you could have picked, you pick one of the people Who hate me in this village. What the hell would you even teach me?" Naruto yelled. "I'll work on your basics and chakra control," Ebisu said. "That's right, Naruto. In Team 7 you're the one who needs to work on your basic skills. They need the most work. That's what I want you to focus on this time around," Kakashi said. "My basic skills need work. They wouldn't need work if you were a better sensei," Naruto said. "Excuse me?" Kakashi asked. "You heard me. I've been under you for 6 months and all you've taught me was tree walking, and that's only because we were fighting Zabuza on our first C-rank mission. Outside of that you haven't taught me anything, and then you pawn me off on this guy who doesn't even like me. You don't suck as a teacher, you also suck as a person. Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. You can't even live by your own words. I know you've been teaching Sasuke and Sakura privately. There's no way Sasuke got that strong without some help, and Sakura was worse than me coming out of the academy. She couldn't even break a simple D-rank genjutsu during our test. Forget it. I'll find somebody to train me myself." Naruto said and stormed out of the hospital. Konoha streets. Stupid sensei. Pawning me off for training. I don't need him. I'll train myself if I have to. Naruto said. He was so caught up talking to himself that he didn't see the person in front of him until they bumped into each other, making the person fall to the ground. Ow. Hey. Watch it. The person said, and it was female. Huh. Oh, sorry. Naruto said and helped her up, then noticed who it was. Thank you. Oh. Hey. I remember you. You're Naruto, right? The girl asked. Yeah. You're Tenari, right? Naruto asked. It's Temari. Temari said. Oh. Right. See ya. Naruto said. Wait. I need some food. What's a good spot to eat at? Temari asked. I'll show you just the place. Naruto said. Ichiraku's. Hey. Old man. Ayame. I'm here with a new customer. Naruto said. Ah. Naruto, my boy. How's it going? Tsuki asked. It's good. I've got a new customer. Her name's Temari. Naruto said. What can I get you, Temari? Ayame asked. I'll have 2 large beef miso ramen. Temari said. Coming right up. Ayame said. A large? Isn't that a bit much? Naruto asked. What are you saying? Are you calling me fat? Temari asked. No, it's just that the girls in this village only eat small portions of food to watch their figure. Aren't you worried about losing your figure and getting fat like most girls? Naruto asked. I'm a Kunoichi. I can eat as much as I want since I'll just burn the extra calories and weight off as I train. Why are you even checking me out? Focus on yourself and don't worry about me. Temari said rather harshly, and Naruto's eyes darkened from sadness. Sorry. I was just curious. I'll see you later, old man, Ayame. Naruto said and left the ramen shop. What was that? Temari asked, surprised by his change in mood and sudden disappearance. You should apologize. Ayame said as she gave Temari her food. Why? Temari asked. Naruto wasn't trying to insult you. He doesn't have much experience talking to other people really. He mainly struggles to talk to girls. He was hated by the entire village since the day he was born, so he lacks certain social skills, especially when it comes to girls. Ayame said. I see him talking to everyone all the time since I've been here. Temari said. He's talking to them, but they aren't really paying attention to him. When he talks and is loud, it's a cry for attention. You didn't notice, but he was calm and spoke quietly in here because he's comfortable talking around us and we already acknowledge him. He's a good kid and means well. He's just rough around the edges. Ayame said. Doesn't he have any friends? Temari asked. Not that I know of. If he's not here eating or out training, he's up in his apartment by himself. Ayame said. What about his parents? Temari asked. His parents died the day he was born. He's an orphan. He was kicked out of the orphanage at about 6 years old and has been living on the streets for 2 years before the Hokage found him and gave him an apartment. Ayame said, and Temari actually started to feel bad. I guess I should go apologize. Temari said. Give him some time. It's best to leave him alone when he gets like this. You won't find him. He's so good at stealth that if he doesn't want to be found, then not even the Hokage can find him. Ayame said. Naruto. Naruto was walking around the forest when he heard the sound of fighting. He went into the trees and saw 2 purple-haired women sparring, and one of them was the same purple-haired Jonin from the second part of the Chunin exams, Anko Mitarashi. He was so into the fight and noticed that they were fighting while standing on water. He remembered Kakashi and Zabuza doing that when they fought. Why are you spying on us? A voice asked behind him and he froze. Oh, I was just walking around the forest and I heard fighting. I came here and saw the 2 of you fighting. Naruto said. I recognize you. You're the loudmouth brat from the Chunin exams. Anko said. Naruto, what are you doing here? The next purple-haired woman asked. How do you know my name? Naruto asked. You don't recognize me without my Anbu mask on, but I've known you since you were a kid. My name is Yugao. Yugao said. Your voice does sound familiar. Anyway, I was just watching you two spar. Naruto said. You're lying. You just wanted to see us get all wet and get a peek at through our wet clothes. Anko said. A peek at your what? Naruto asked confused. Our tits. Humongous boulders on our bodies. Don't you know anything about? Anko asked. What the hell is that? Naruto asked. Come on. Let me explain some things to you, kid. Anko said as she sat next to him. Oh boy. Yugao said. Then they both proceeded to give the talk to Naruto, but Anko was a bit over-descriptive and hands-on for Yugao, but Naruto understood what they were saying. So that's what the women in the brothel houses are doing. I always thought they were doing some kind of intense training. Naruto said. Nope. Anko said. Huh. You learn something new every day. I wonder if all are soft and squishy like yours. Naruto said. They should be. Yugao has some soft and squishy as well. Anko said and gave Yugao a nice squeeze. Will you stop? I have a boyfriend. Yugao said. I'm sure he wouldn't mind a threesome. Anko said and Yugao blushed. Wow. Wait a minute. Anko. I knew I heard that name before the Chunin exams. You're the lady Iruka-sensei talks about a lot. Naruto said. Why does he talk about me? Anko asked and had a small blush on his face. I don't know. He kept mumbling to himself about today being the day he would ask Anko. I never knew what he was talking about, but I think I figured it out. He must have a crush on you. Yeah, that's got to be it. He always has a blush on his face when he says your name. Naruto said and both Yugao and Anko were shocked. No way. I've got to tell Kurenai and Hana this. Yugao thought. He likes me. Well, then again I am a pretty nice piece of. Anko thought. Anyway, how were you walking on water just now? Naruto asked. It's chakra control exercise. You should know that by now. Yugao said. If I knew what it was I wouldn't have asked. Naruto said. Right. Well, Anko, I need to get back to my duty. I'll see you, Hana and Kurenai later. Yugao said and vanished. Whoa. That was cool. Naruto said. I have to get going. I've got people to interrogate and a certain teacher to talk to. Nice talk, kid. Anko said. Wait. Before you leave, can you tell me how to walk on water? Naruto asked. What's in it for me? Anko asked. I noticed you like dango and red bean soup. There is 3,000 ryo in this pouch for you. Naruto said holding up a pouch. How do you have this much money? Anko asked. I save more than I spend. Naruto said and Anko took some of the money from his pouch. To do the water walking exercise, you have to emit a constant stream of chakra from the bottom of your feet and use the repellent force to walk across the water's surface. This is more difficult to master than the tree climbing, because the amount of chakra that needs to be emitted changes constantly. Anko said and then gave him a demonstration. Thanks for the help. Naruto said and Anko just vanished. I need to learn that as well. I need to go to the hot springs first. My body is sore from fighting. Naruto said and left. Hot springs. Alright. I'm feeling better, so now I'll do the water walking exercise. Naruto said. He figured he would work on it at the hot springs because it would give him more inspiration to complete it since he didn't want to get burned. After about 50 tries and falling into the water 50 times, he was finally able to do it, but for some reason he noticed his chakra was even harder to control properly for some reason. He was about to try again when he heard giggling. He looked up and saw a man peeping on the women's side of the hot springs. He walked up to him and tapped him on the shoulder. Go away. I'm creating a masterpiece. The man said. It's illegal to peek on the women in the hot springs. Naruto said. Go away, kid. I'm busy. The man said. Fine. Don't say I didn't warn you. There's a pervert peeking through the fence on the women's bathhouse. Naruto yelled and they heard screaming. Kid, what did you just do? The man asked. Serves you right. Naruto said and walked away listening to the man getting beat up by a mob of angry women. That wasn't nice, kid. The man said as he appeared in front of him. What the hell? I really need to learn that jutsu. Naruto mumbled. Why'd you do that? The man asked. Because you're a pervert and you deserved it. Who are you anyway? Naruto asked. I'm glad you asked. The man said and summoned a toad then started to dance. I don't have time for this. Never mind. I need to get back to training for the Chunin exam finals. Naruto said. The Chunin exams? I remember when I took the Chunin exams. Who's your opponent? The man asked. Neji Hyuga, the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. Naruto said. How about I train you? The man asked. What exactly would you train me in? Better yet, what's your name? Naruto asked. I am the one. Theon, the only, gallant Jiraiya 1/3 of the legendary Sannin. As for what I'll train in. Have you ever noticed a second chakra in your body? Jiraiya asked. If you're talking about the Nine Tails chakra, then yes. What else are you going to teach me? Naruto asked. I'll let you sign the Toad contract as well. Jiraiya said. What else? Naruto asked. Geez kid, what do you want to learn? Jiraiya asked. I only planned on training him on using the Nine Tails chakra and giving him the Toad contract. Jiraiya thought. How about some ninjutsu, taijutsu, and if you can help with my fuinjutsu? Naruto said. You know fuinjutsu? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, I'm only level 5 so it's going a bit slow for me. Naruto said. Level 5 at your age? That's great actually. We'll do all of that if you agree to what I want to teach you. Jiraiya said. Okay, but can we hold off on the contract signing until about a day or two before my training is over with? I have a month. Naruto said. Why wouldn't you want to sign it right away? Why wait to sign the contract? Jiraiya asked. Because what if I'm not worthy enough to sign the contract? I mean I get that it's a huge honor, but from what I've read up on summoning, the boss summons has the right to reject me if I'm not worthy enough. Can't I just build my strength up first before I sign the contract? Naruto asked. He's different from what sensei told me about him. Jiraiya thought. Sure. Meet me here at 4 a.m. We'll train from 4 a.m. until 6 p.m. this entire month. What do you know so far? Jiraiya asked. Shadow clones, substitution jutsu, transformation jutsu, jutsu and that's it. Naruto said. That's it? That's all you've learned in what 6 months? Jiraiya asked. I knew all of that besides tree climbing and water walking before I graduated. I learned tree walking during a C rank turned A rank mission and I just found out about water walking a few hours ago. Naruto said. I see. Who is your sensei? Jiraiya asked. Kakashi Hatake. Naruto said. You should be way above where you're at now. I've noticed you completed the water walking, but you seem to have a problem with your chakra. Jiraiya said. I know. It's been harder to control ever since that stupid snake man hit me in the stomach during the second part of the Chunin exams. Naruto said. Snake man, lift up your shirt and channel chakra for me. Jiraiya said. Why? Naruto asked. Just do it or I won't train you. Jiraiya said. Alright, Sheesh. Naruto said and did as told. So this is the formula used to imprison the nine-tailed fox. A double tetragram seal with an 8-sided seal. That way, if any of the demon's chakra escapes the tetragram seal, it will be safely channeled into and suppressed by Naruto's own chakra. The fourth Hokage did this for Naruto's own protection. Since then, a 5-prong seal had been added. An odd-numbered seal on top of an even-numbered seal. That it explains it. That's why his chakra and the demon's chakra are merging in an unstable way. I'm surprised he was able to master water walking with this seal on him. Jiraiya thought. So, what's wrong with the seal? Naruto asked. That snake man placed an odd number seal over an even numbered seal. Do you know what the 5-prong seal is? Jiraiya asked. No, I haven't gotten that far into sealing yet. Naruto said. Basically, when the 5-prong seal is placed on somebody, they have difficulty controlling their chakra. In your case, your chakra became even more unstable due to the 9 tails being inside of you. It caused both of your chakras to merge in an unstable manner. Jiraiya said. Can you remove it? Naruto asked. Of course I can. I am a seal master. Jiraiya said and then slammed his hand onto Naruto's seal. 5-prong seal release. Jiraiya removed the seal from Naruto and he let out a silent yet by the look on his face, a painful scream. Naruto wanted to yell at Jiraiya, but he felt his chakra was a lot easier to use. A little warning would have been nice, but thank you. Naruto said. You're welcome. Now, onto our schedule. We'll be working on your speed, strength and tactics. I'll be having you wear weights to help as well so you can get some good results. Ninjutsu we'll work on after your physical training is done. Fuinjutsu will be the last thing we work on every day. Jiraiya said. Does this mean I'm like your apprentice? Naruto asked. No, you aren't my apprentice officially until you sign the Toad contract. Now, get home. Tomorrow is the start of our training regime. Jiraiya said. You got it, pervy sage. Naruto said. Don't call me that. Jiraiya yelled and Naruto just laughed at him. Great. First Kushina called me that and now Naruto calls me that. Jiraiya thought. It fits perfectly. Naruto said and Jiraiya just sighed. One last thing, you need to get rid of that horrendous outfit. Jiraiya said. It's the only thing I was able to buy. I can't even fit it. It's like 2 sizes too big. Naruto said. Why's that the only thing you could buy? Jiraiya asked. Because the entire village minus a few hate me. I only get these that make me stand out and they're not really comfortable. Naruto said. Why didn't you tell the Hokage? Jiraiya asked. Because I don't trust him. He's a liar. Naruto said. Why don't you trust him? Hasn't he been taking care of you? Jiraiya asked. If you call living on the streets for 2 years before he finally did something taking care of me, then no. That little orphan check I'm supposed to get barely covers my food and rent for that dump of an apartment he gave me. I'm grateful for it, but when Sasuke became an orphan and had to move out of the Uchiha compound, he was given a luxurious apartment. Naruto said. I see. Why'd you call him a liar? Jiraiya asked. Because he is. I asked him if he knew my parents and he lied to my face telling me no. When I asked him again he told me it's pointless to worry about that. I know he's lying because whenever he lies, he takes a long inhale of his pipe and turns away from the person before speaking. Another thing, I asked him for help in the academy since none of the teachers would help me with the clone jutsu and he said he couldn't help me because that would be showing favoritism, but he gave the okay for Sasuke to have private tutors when he asked. Naruto said. Don't you think you can give him some slack? I mean he is the Hokage. Jiraiya said. The same Hokage that passed laws saying if anyone was to harm me for being a Jinchuriki that they would be put to death. Yeah, I've been beaten so many times by ninja and civilians that it's impossible to count. I had to find out from a rogue teacher that I had the 9 tails in me after he lied to me every time I was in the hospital clinging to my own life asking him why people hated me. Naruto said, and as he was ranting his eyes changed. What the hell kind of dojutsu is that? Minato and Kushina never had one. Jiraiya thought. I'll talk to Hiruzen-sensei about all of this. He was supposed to be taking care of you for me. Jiraiya said. For you? Who are you exactly? Naruto asked. I can't tell you that, but I did know your parents. Jiraiya said. Who are they? Naruto asked. Let's make a deal. After the Chunin exams are over with and if you become a Chunin, I'll tell you who I am and who one of your parents were. Deal? Jiraiya asked. Deal. Naruto said. Now, what's up with your eyes? Jiraiya asked. What do you mean? Naruto asked. What do you see right now? Jiraiya asked. I see your chakra flowing and I feel like I can do something else, but I'm not sure what it is. Naruto said. Stop channeling chakra to your eyes. Tomorrow we'll see what else the eye of yours can do. Now, I need to go talk to the Hokage about some stuff. I'll see you tomorrow morning, kid. Jiraiya said and vanished. Damn it. I should have had him show me how to do that first. Naruto said and walked away. Hospital. Hey, Shikamaru. What are you doing here? Naruto asked. I was visiting Choji. What about you? Shikamaru asked. I'm here to see Bushy Brows. Naruto said. I think I'll join you. Shikamaru said. They walked to Lee's room only to see Gaara trying to kill Lee. Shikamaru used his shadow possession jutsu to hold Gaara and Naruto hit Gaara with a strong punch to the face that hurt Shikamaru as well. What the hell are you doing in here? Naruto asked. I was going to kill him. Gaara said. What? Naruto asked. You already beat him during the Chunin exams. What's your problem? Wasn't that enough for you? Do you have some kind of personal grudge against him or something? I have nothing against him. It's nothing that complicated. I simply want to kill him, that's all. Gaara said. You're sick in the head. You're crazy. Naruto said. You think we're just gonna stand by and let you do whatever you want? You sick, selfish psycho. Shikamaru said. If you don't stay out of my way, I'll have to kill you too as well. Gaara said, and then Naruto walked up to him, staring him right in the eyes. Then do it. We both know Shikamaru's jutsu isn't affecting you. What's stopping you? Naruto asked. What the hell? Shikamaru asked. Do it, Gaara, or leave. Naruto said. It's 2-on-1. Just take my advice and go quietly. Shikamaru said. I'll give you one last warning. If you get in my way, then I'll kill you. Gaara said. Then I'll tell you again. Do it. Naruto said. Will you shut up? He fights like he's mad. Like he's a demon or something. Shikamaru said. He can act like a demon all he wants to, but I've got the real thing inside of me. Naruto said. You idiot. Leave this to me. What's the point of getting him mad? Shikamaru asked. A demon? Huh, my demon is as real as yours is. From my birth, my upbringing was not what most people would consider a happy one. To ensure that I became the strongest of shinobi, my father cast his ninjutsu on me, infusing my unborn self with a sand spirit. I destroyed the life of a woman who gave birth to me. I was born a monster. Its name is Shukaku, and it's the living incarnation of an old monk of the sand village who'd been sealed up in a jar of tea. Gaara said. Yeah, some kind of demonic jutsu. But to use it on a baby, before it's even born, man, that's creepy. Shikamaru said. Can that be true? He has one inside of him too. Naruto thought. Your dad must have loved you a lot. Shikamaru said sarcastically. You speak of love. Don't measure me by your standards. Love. Family. The only emotional ties I have to my family are the ones I'd like to wrap around their necks. They're only ties of hate. Given by the death of my mother. I was brought into being and nurtured as the salvation of the village. I was the Kage's child. My father taught me the inner secrets of the shinobi. He pampered me, protected me and left me to myself. For a long time I thought that was love. That was when everything started. Gaara said. When what started? Shikamaru asked. In the 6 years since I became 6 years old, my father tried to destroy me more times than I can count. Gaara said. You just finished saying how your father pampered and protected you. So which is it? Shikamaru asked. Those who get to become too strong are apt to become feared. The jutsu that gave me birth had unbalanced something in my mind. Even the fools in my village finally realized I had emotional problems. My father, the Kage, had created me as his ultimate weapon, but I eventually became a threat to the very village I was meant to save. By the time I was 6 I became a figure of terror to them. I was a relic of the past that they wished would disappear. So you see, I had failed at the one purpose for which I was given life. What then was left for me in this existence? Why go on living? For a long time, I couldn't find an answer to that. But in order to live, you need a purpose. To exist for no reason is the same as being dead. Gaara said. I know exactly what he means. He's the same as me. Naruto thought. Then in time to answer came to me. To put it simply, my reason for living is in the killing of others. For years I lived in fear of those who were sent to murder me. But now I am at peace. I killed many would-be assassins and it was while I was doing it that the truth was made clear to me. I live solely for myself. I live only for myself. As it was the death of my mother that first gave me life, now it is the death of others that sustains me, that makes me almost happy to be alive, and there's no end to it, as long as there are still people to kill in this great, wide, crowded world. I will never disappear. Gaara said, and then his sand came to life around him. All right. That's enough. Save it for the finals. That's when the final competition begins. You're just wasting it today. Is that what you want? Might Guy asked, and Gaara grabbed his head, forcing his sand to come back into his gourd, then he just walked out. All the same, I will kill you. Just you wait. I'll kill you all. Gaara said. I see. I'll see you guys later. Naruto said. Where are you going? Shikamaru asked. I need to get some sleep. My teacher is meeting me at 4 a.m. to start training for the finals. Naruto said. Isn't Kakashi always late? Shikamaru asked. He's not teaching me. I have somebody else who is the second strongest in the village behind the Hokage. Naruto said. Who would that be? Shikamaru asked. Toads. Naruto said cryptically, and Might Guy widened his eyes. Naruto, is he your teacher? Guy asked. Yeah, Naruto said. Then I look forward to seeing your hot flames of youth in the finals. Guy said and did his nice guy pose. Konoha streets. I guess I have my work cut out for me in the finals. Naruto said. He was walking through the streets of Konoha again, and this time he felt at peace after he got everything off his chest when he talked to Jiraiya. For the first time in his life he actually felt at peace. He decided to stop by the shinobi library to look for a taijutsu style and found 2 styles that should help him. He left the library, and as he was walking he once again bumped into Temari. Huh, oh, it's you again, Naruto said as he helped her off the ground. Yeah, it's me. Don't you ever watch where you're walking? Temari asked. I do, but it's a peaceful night and I've got some stuff off my chest with my teacher for the finals, so I just felt at peace. Naruto said. I see. So, what's with the scrolls? Temari asked. For my training. Naruto said. What kind of training? Temari asked. Brutal training. Can I help you with something? I have to meet my sensei at 4 a.m. and it's already 9 p.m. Naruto said. Listen, I'm sorry about what happened earlier at the ramen shop. I didn't mean to come off so harshly to you. I just thought you were being rude on purpose. The girl that works there, Ayame, told me you don't have much social skills, let alone skills talking to girls. Let's start over. I'm Temari and I like your hair. Temari said, holding out her hand. Oh, I'm Naruto and I like your tits. Naruto said. My what? Temari asked with a blush. Your tits. I thought girls liked being complimented on their bodies. Naruto said. We do, but that's not something you say to a girl if you're just meeting her. Temari said. Really? Anko didn't tell me that when she gave me the talk. I'll have to remember that. Naruto said. Wait, you just had the talk today? Temari asked. Yeah, I didn't even know what that was. Anko and Yugao explained everything to me. Anko even went into great detail. I think I have a better understanding of things now. I didn't insult you, did I? Naruto asked and Temari just sighed. No, if you were another person I would have hit you with my fan, but I know you struggle with interacting socially, so I'll let it slide. Next time, compliment a girl on her looks or something. Temari said. Right. Well, see ya. Naruto said and started to walk away. Wait, I'm kind of lost. Can you walk me back to the Golden Leaf Hotel? Temari asked and Naruto froze. I'm not allowed in that part of the village. You'll just have to find somebody else to help you. Naruto said. Why not? Temari asked. Because they hate me. Naruto said. Why? Temari asked. I can't talk about it. I'll see you at the finals, Temari. Naruto said and walked away. Yeah, I'll see you at the finals. Temari said and sighed. If only he knew. Temari thought sadly. Next day. Alright, pervy sage. What's first? Naruto asked. Stop calling me that. Anyway, first thing first. I'm going to place some resistance seals on you. Jiraiya said. What are those? Naruto asked. They're like weight seals, but different. They'll make it harder for you to move and won't stunt your growth even more than it already has been stunted. Jiraiya said and placed resistance seals on Naruto's arms, legs and his chest. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Naruto asked. You're what, 13? You're the size of a 10-year-old. We'll be working on changing your diet and getting you better nutrients. You can't eat ramen every day all day. I know it's not your fault, but I'm going to get you right. Another thing, you are to not release the resistance seals while we are training. You're way behind in training, so I'm going to push you harder than you can imagine. Now, when the library opens, I want you to go and get you some taijutsu scrolls you want to learn. Jiraiya said. Already done. I grabbed 2 yesterday, but I want to mix them together to create a single style. Naruto said and gave Jiraiya the scrolls. That's good. Now, to make these even deadlier, I'm going to work on your speed quite a bit. As for ninjutsu, I want you to channel chakra into this paper. Jiraiya said and pulled out a piece of paper. Why? Naruto asked. It's chakra paper. It'll tell us what element you have to learn elemental ninjutsu. If your element is fire, the paper will burn. Water, the paper will become damp. Earth, the paper will crumble. Wind, the paper will split in half. Lighting will cause the paper to wrinkle. Jiraiya said. Cool. Naruto said, as he channeled chakra into the paper. The results were shocking and Jiraiya had his jaw on the ground. The paper split into 4 pieces. One was ripped to shreds. Another became so damp that it deteriorated. One caught on fire and the last one turned to ice. What the hell? Do it again. Jiraiya said and gave Naruto another piece of chakra paper, then got the same results. Is that bad? Naruto asked. No, it's a shocker. Jiraiya said. Sweet. So, when do we get started? Naruto asked. Right now. The first week we'll be working on your speed and taijutsu. Next week is when we will work on everything combined. Jiraiya said. Huh, so that's where I put my old kunai pouch. Naruto said. What? Jiraiya asked. Nothing. My old kunai pouch was under a floorboard in my apartment, but how do I know that? I'm standing right here. Naruto said. Did you leave a shadow clone at home? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, I had some of them clean the apartment for me. Naruto said. I'll tell you the secret to shadow clones. Whenever one of them dispel, the original gets their memories. Tobirama Senju created that jutsu for spying purposes. Jiraiya said. Sweet. Wait, if I can gain their memories, can't we use them for my training? Naruto asked and Jiraiya just looked him. Why the hell didn't I think of that? Okay. Make 60 shadow clones. I'll send a shadow clone with each group of 20 to get you started on elemental training. While the clones work on your ninjutsu and fuinjutsu, we'll be sparing every day until the final 2 days of training. I want you to sign the Toad contract still. Jiraiya said. What about the 9 tails chakra? I thought we were gonna work on that as well. Naruto said. I've changed my mind. I'm going to boost your skills first and we'll worry about that some other time. Now, I want you to run 50 laps around the walls of Konoha. After that we'll start on your taijutsu. Jiraiya said. You got it, pervy sage. Naruto said and dragged his feet to start running. I hate that name. He's gonna be something special. He may even surpass you Minato quicker than you'd hope if he keeps this up. Jiraiya thought and started looking at the scrolls Naruto had. Muay Thai and Kyushu Jitsu. He seems to be eager to take Neji on using taijutsu. He should know that fighting a Hyuga in taijutsu is suicide since they can seal off your chakra points. That must be why he has Kyushu Jitsu in here. He must want to make Neji feel what others feel when they fight a Hyuga. Neji may block off Naruto's chakra points, but he'll still be able to fight. However, if Naruto strikes certain pressure points on Neji, then he won't be able to use that body part until the effects wear off. Smart plan. Jiraiya said, and then a smaller scroll fell out. 7 heavenly breaths. Jiraiya thought and then read it, making his eyes go wide. I don't even think Naruto knows he grabbed this scroll. The way this is explained, it's almost exactly like the 8 inner gates that Might Guy uses. I heard a kid named Rock Lee can also use the 8 inner gates up to the 5th gate, and he's only been a genin for a year. These are tough, but easier to use than the 8 inner gates. If Naruto fights this Gaara kid I've heard about, then he'll need something like this to give him a bit of help. I won't have him do this. I'll have some of his shadow clones test it out first and then have him do it. Jiraiya said. 28 days later. Alright, Naruto. It's time to sign the Toad contract. Jiraiya said and placed the scroll on the ground. How do I sign it? Naruto asked. Bite your thumb and sign it with blood. After you sign it, make sure you place blood on each of your fingertips and place them under your name. Jiraiya said and Naruto did that. Now what? Naruto asked. Now, bite your thumb and do these hand signs to summon a toad. Make sure you use some chakra as well. Jiraiya said and Naruto went through the hand signs. Summoning jutsu. Yo. Name's Gamakichi. Nice to meet you. Gamakichi said, and he was a small orange toad. Not bad for a first summon. Jiraiya thought. Try it again, but this time use as much chakra as you can. We've been working on your chakra control a lot during training, so you should be able to summon the boss toad or a warrior toad. Jiraiya said, and Naruto did it again. Summoning jutsu. Jiraiya. A loud voice boomed. Of course he summons Gamabunta. Jiraiya thought. Yes, Gamabunta. Jiraiya said as he hid behind a rock. Why the hell did you summon me? I don't see a fight going on. Gamabunta said. I didn't summon you. He did. Jiraiya said, pointing to Naruto who was on his head. Nice to meet you, Chief Toad. The name's Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said. You actually want me to believe this runt summoned me? Gamabunta said. It's true, Pops. I saw the whole thing. Gamakichi said. Gamakichi, what are you doing here? Gamabunta asked. The new guy summoned me before you. I say we let him keep the contract. Gamakichi said. He was able to summon me on his second try. Not even Jiraiya or the fourth Hokage was able to do that. Gamabunta thought. Fine. You may keep the contract, but do not summon me unless you are in a battle and require my help, or if you have barrels of sake. Gamabunta said. Sake. Wait, I think I have some of that stuff. Naruto said and pulled out 6 storage scrolls revealing 50 barrels of sake. I like this kid already. Gamakichi, we're leaving. Gamabunta said. See ya, Naruto. Gamakichi said, and they left with the sake. Now what, pervy sage? Naruto asked, and Jiraiya just stood there pouting. Let's go over everything you've learned this past month. Jiraiya said. Well, we went through about 50% of both taijutsu scrolls, but you said my new speed makes up for the incomplete fighting styles. My ninjutsu is good, but I don't know any ice ninjutsu yet. Fuinjutsu, I'm halfway through level 6 now. Genjutsu we found out is useless against me when I have my dojutsu activated, but without it I can break up to high C rank genjutsu. Oh, and you taught me some of those 7 heavenly breath techniques. List of the ninjutsu you've learned. Jiraiya said. Shunshin, Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu, Fire Style, Demon Lantern, Fire Style, Dragon Flame Caterwall, Fire Style, Firefox, Water Style, Ripping Torrent, Water Style, Water Beast, Water Style, Tri-Water Dragon Jutsu, Water Style, Water Dragon Jutsu, Shuriken Shadow Clone, Kunai Shadow Clone, Wind Style, Gale Palm, Wind Style, Great Breakthrough, Wind Style, Spiraling Wind Ball. Where would you rank my overall skill? Naruto asked. I'd put you at about mid to high Chunin now overall. Jiraiya said. Where would you put me before we started to train? Naruto asked. Low Genin. I'd say that because of your skill in using the shadow clones. You've come a far way in a month. Now, the next 2 days are for you to do whatever you want. Good job. Jiraiya said. Thanks, pervy sage. Naruto said. Don't call me that. Jiraiya yelled, and Naruto just laughed at him. Hey, pervy sage. How fast am I now? I mean, these resistance seals must have helped a lot, right? Naruto asked. Well, I'd say that your speed is faster than that Rock Lee kid after he takes off his weights and without the seals activated on you. You were already low Chunin in speed before any progress happened. I'm surprised Kakashi hasn't noticed that. Jiraiya said. That's because he was focused on his most prized student. The one I know for a fact that he wanted the most because of the stupid Sharingan. Naruto said. Kakashi took the easy student. Jiraiya said. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Kakashi took the prodigy of the class because Sasuke is a genius. It's easier to teach Sasuke because you can already tell he has a training background. You on the other hand had no one to train you and knew next to nothing. It would have been difficult for Kakashi to teach you because you don't understand things like Sasuke. To put it simply, Sasuke was the diamond while you were the lump of coal. Which do you think people would prefer? A diamond or a lump of coal? Jiraiya asked. The diamond. Naruto said. Exactly. I'd rather take that lump of coal. I did have a diamond before that needed polishing, but I'd still take a lump of coal. Jiraiya said. Why? It's not worth anything. Naruto said. Not at first it isn't, but if you put that lump of coal under enough pressure and polish it enough, you might just end up with a diamond. Inside every lump of coal there's a diamond waiting to get out. Jiraiya said. So, were you the diamond in your team? Naruto asked. No, I was the lump of coal. I was like you until I met the toads and started to train under them. As you know, Orochimaru was on my team. He was the diamond on my team along with my other teammate. Like you, I also learned through trial and error. Look at me now, I'm one of the legendary Sannin. Jiraiya said. Are you the strongest? Naruto asked. I'd like to say so. As you know, I am a spy master and I do go on missions. I have to make sure my skills are always sharp and on point. I know one of my teammates hasn't trained in decades and Orochimaru has his own evil thing going, so he probably still trains a bit. Jiraiya said. So it's a toss-up between you and Orochimaru for the title of strongest Sannin. Naruto said. I didn't say that. Jiraiya said. Yeah, but you also didn't say either of you were stronger. I mean, if the third member of your team hasn't trained in months, then it's obvious you or Orochimaru would be the strongest. Naruto said. Who do you think is the strongest between you and your teammates? Jiraiya asked. Well, me of course. Naruto said. Why? Sasuke's the prodigy of your team, isn't he? Jiraiya asked. Yeah, but I noticed even the simplest training I did would put Sasuke on edge since I was closing the gap between us quickly. I mean, he had Kakashi helping him privately, but I was able to make him work for it if he wanted to beat me. I mean, look at everything you taught me. Taijutsu, ninjutsu, breaking genjutsu, fuinjutsu, and you even worked on my speed while not neglecting my power. If Sasuke is fighting Gaara, then Kakashi must be working mainly on his speed to get around his sand or give him some kind of attack that can pierce through his sand. Naruto said. His ability to think logically has gotten better over this month. Jiraiya thought. Now, what about your other teammate? Jiraiya asked. What about her? Naruto asked. Why isn't she the strongest? Jiraiya asked. She's the strongest book-wise, but that's it. She barely trains, all she does is follow Sasuke around like a lost puppy. She worries more about her overall appearance than her skills, and when she does train she does the bare minimum, then gets an attitude with me if I ask if she wants to train together. Naruto said. If you make Chunin, then what will you do? Jiraiya asked. Train to become Jonin. After that, train to become the Hokage. Change the village up a bit because quite honestly it sucks. Naruto said. How does it suck? Jiraiya asked. First off, the academy is basically pointless if we don't do test scenarios. I mean, after 4 years all you need is the basic 3 jutsus to graduate. That's stupid. Then on top of that, the red light district needs to be fixed, but nobody is doing it. The orphanages are in horrible condition and we only have one ninja school, which is stupid because not everyone lives close to the academy. Naruto said. Why didn't you tell the Hokage? Jiraiya asked. He already knows, but he lets the civilian council walk all over him and he claims he's just an old man that can only do so much. Naruto said. You've got some good points. However, the civilian council does have power, you know. Jiraiya said. Last time I checked, this was a ninja village. The orphanage I can understand, but why are they meddling in ninja affairs like the academy and missions we get? We both know the civilian council is corrupt, but the old man is just too lazy and scared to do anything about it. Naruto said. How do you know all of this? Jiraiya asked. You'd be amazed at what I can do if I decided to actually get serious about sneaking around. All of the civilian council has made my life a living hell except for Sakura's mother. I have all this dirt on them and I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to bring it out. I even made it known that there are weak points in the village security. It's almost as if the village is welcoming an attack. I shouldn't be able to sneak into Anbu headquarters, sneak into the Hokage mansion, and I shouldn't be able to access the files room on the civilian council. Naruto said. How the hell weren't you caught? Jiraiya asked. Like I said during training. If I don't want to be found, you won't find me. Not even that glass orb the Hokage has can't even find me. Naruto said. Sheesh, this village is lucky he isn't an enemy or they'd all be dead by now. Jiraiya thought. Anyway, good luck in the finals. Jiraiya said. You're not staying? Naruto asked. I've got to meet up with some contacts. I should be back in time to see my apprentice win the finals. Jiraiya said. I'm officially your apprentice? Naruto asked. Yup. As soon as you signed the Toad contract, it became official. As a Sannin, I have power to choose whoever I want as my apprentice. If you stay a genin, then I'll be able to pull you from a mission if I need you for something. Jiraiya said. Awesome. Hey, pervy sage. Am I a diamond or lump of coal? Naruto asked. I've just started putting you under pressure and polishing you. However, there is a speck of something within you. It's up to you on how you go about that. Your drive and ambition will determine if it's a speck of dust or a diamond that is starting to form. Jiraiya said. I guess this is it. Naruto said, and Jiraiya placed his hand on Naruto's head. Don't worry. You'll do just fine. Jiraiya said. Thanks, pervy sage. Naruto said. Don't forget to wear the new clothes you got. That horrendous jumpsuit is too small for you now. Jiraiya said, and then Jiraiya went up in smoke. 2 days later, Chunin exam finals. The crowd was gathered as all the competitors were in the arena. Well, all except 3. Naruto, Sasuke and Dosu weren't there yet. Sasuke was with Kakashi, so he was more than likely going to be late, but no one has heard from Naruto or Dosu. Look at this. We're missing quite a few people here. Shikamaru thought. Stands. What's going on? Where is everyone? This is about to get started. Ino said. Yeah. What's going on? Sasuke and even Naruto are nowhere to be seen. Sakura thought. Hey, look. Who's that? Ino asked, pointing to a competitor. I don't know. Sakura said. Fighting area. Name please. The proctor asked. It's me, Naruto. Naruto said. Sorry, the clothes threw me off. The proctor said. They're pretty sweet, huh? Naruto asked. Yeah, they are. Finally got rid of the orange jumpsuit, huh? Shikamaru asked. I had to. Naruto said. He now wore a white hoodie that had green trimmings down the side. Black shinobi pants and black shinobi sandals. Underneath his hoodie was a red shirt with armor mesh underneath it. His hair grew out a bit, and if you looked at him closely, he looked like a certain head on the Hokage monument. Whoa, he sure is cute. Stop that, Temari. You have more important things to worry about. Temari thought, but couldn't stop the small blush appearing on her face. You guys are the heroes of this final competition. The proctor said. Welcome all and our deepest thanks for coming here to the village hidden in the leaves for this year's Chunin selection. We have come to the final completion between the 8 candidates who made it through the preliminaries. We ask that no one leaves until all the matches have been completed. Now, everyone enjoy. Hiruzen said. Oh, there's one more thing before we get started. Look it over. There's been a slight change in the matchups. Now it's set so everyone take one last look at who you'll be facing. The proctor said and held up a piece of paper. I thought I was supposed to fight an extra match. Hey, so that Dosu guy dropped out. Shikamaru thought. Alright, listen up. The terrain is different, but the rules are the same as before. That is that there are no rules. A match continues until one candidate acknowledges defeat or dies. That being said, if I determine that a match is over, I can step in and stop it at any time. No arguments are permitted. These are the opponents for the first match. Naruto Uzumaki and Neji Hyuga. Those two stay. The rest of you can go to the waiting area. The proctor said and everyone left except Neji and Naruto. Stands. Hey, Sakura. I know that you're worried about Sasuke, but come on. Don't be such a lump. Aren't you going to at least cheer Naruto on? Ino asked. You're right, Sakura said and put a smile on her face. That's more like it. Not that the poor ring has a hope in hell against Neji. Ino said. He's not that bad. Sakura said. Are you kidding? Not that bad. Is that the best you can do? Ino asked. Who would have believed that little squirt would survive this long? Kotetsu asked. Yeah, he's been one lucky kid so far, but his luck's about to run out. He'll never survive this one. Azumo said. I don't know. Look at him. He's grown a lot. He's not the little squirt he was a month ago. He's taller, put on some muscle and looks more mature. Whoever trained him must have put him through the ringer. I can tell he's far ahead of what he used to be. This match is going to be a lot more interesting than people think. Kotetsu said. Fighting area. You got anything to say to me? Neji asked. Yeah, you might want to take me serious from the start if you hope to have any chance at winning. Naruto said and everyone noticed his voice was a bit deeper. Then Neji activated his Byakugan. He has the look. He's calmer now, more sure of himself. Neji thought and then got into his fighting stance as did Naruto. So much the better for me. I can't wait to see the look of despair on your face when you learn that your foolish vow is impossible to keep. Neji said. The Byakugan. The prized dojutsu of the Hyuga clan. I'm honored. However, I wonder which dojutsu is better. Yours or mine? Naruto asked and activated his dojutsu, shocking everyone. Cage stands. What? Hiruzen yelled. I've never seen a dojutsu like that before. Care to explain, Lord Third? The fake fourth Kazekage asked. I've never seen something like that before either. Hiruzen said and focused on Naruto. I must see more of that dojutsu. I'll have to delay the invasion. Orochimaru thought and discreetly did a hand signal to somebody in the stands who nodded. Fighting area. Alright, let the first match begin, the proctor said. Neji and Naruto had a brief stare down before Naruto sprang into action. He pulled out some shurikens and threw them at Neji, who started to block them until Naruto used the shuriken shadow clone jutsu and Neji had to use his ultimate Hyuga defense to block them. I can't believe he forced me to use the rotation on his very first move. Neji thought. Now that we got that out of the way, how about we get started? Naruto asked. How did you know about my rotation? Neji asked. When I don't want to be seen, you won't see me even with those eyes of yours. Naruto said. It does not matter, you're still fated to lose to me. Neji said. Yup, and you're still fated to be the Hyuga main branch's bitch. Naruto said and rushed in at Neji. You really are an idiot if you intend to take me on in a taijutsu fight. Neji said. Naruto appeared in front of Neji and they began a taijutsu fight. Neji was using his gentle fist and Naruto was using a combination of his two fighting styles. The crowd was cheering loud because of the high-speed action and the shinobi in the stands were surprised that Naruto was able to go toe-to-toe with a Hyuga prodigy in taijutsu. Every time Neji would strike Naruto, he would get hit twice by Naruto. The speed at which Naruto was fighting threw Neji off a bit, but he was no stranger when it came to speed. What Neji didn't know was that Naruto's dojutsu allowed him to see Neji's chakra network, so he was able to counter some of the blows to his chakra points by adding more chakra to them to keep them from closing. Stands. I can't believe it. Kurenai said. I know. To think this used to be the dead last. Whoever trained him during this month must have been quite the shinobi. Asuma said. Didn't Kakashi teach him? Kurenai asked. No. From what I heard, Naruto asked Kakashi for help, but he refused as he wanted to train Sasuke for his match with Gaara. Kakashi chose Ebisu to train Naruto and he flipped out on Kakashi then stormed out of the hospital. Nobody hasn't seen or heard from him for an entire month. However, rumor has it that he spent some time with the Kunoichi from Suna. Asuma said. Then it makes me wonder what he would be like if he was trained properly throughout the academy. Kurenai said. Same here. I feel bad for Kakashi. Naruto will without a doubt make Chunin and if he does, Kakashi won't have anything to do with it. Asuma said. Is that Naruto? There's no way he should be able to fight with Neji like that. 10-10 thought. Hey, Sakura. Ino said. Huh, what is it? Sakura asked. I thought Naruto was supposed to be the dead last. Who trained him? Ino asked. I don't know. I haven't seen him for the entire month. He hasn't even been to Ichiraku's. Sakura said. He's obviously been training and eating better. He's grown a couple inches and is probably as tall as Neji now. That and look at the muscle he put on. I wonder if I should snatch him up before somebody else does. Ino said and Hinata gasped. Ino, do you even hear yourself? Sakura asked. I'm just kidding. Sasuke is the guy for me. Naruto belongs to Hinata. Ino said making Hinata blush. Fighting area. I can't believe he's able to match me in taijutsu. However, his arms are done for. Neji thought as the separated and both were covered in bruises. You may have gotten stronger, but you're still no match for me. The gentle fist blocks the chakra points wherever I strike. Looks like you can't use the chakra in your arms for ninjutsu. Neji said. See, that's where you're wrong. I can easily reopen my chakra points. You on the other hand may want to examine your body a bit closer. Naruto said. A couple of bruises mean nothing. Neji said. Even with the infamous Byakugan you still can't see clearly. Naruto said. What is that supposed to mean? Neji asked. The bruises on your body are in specific points on your body. They aren't just random spots I hit. While you were able to close off my chakra points, I was able to strike your pressure points. Your arms don't really work that great right now. You may have hit me half of the times you actually thought you did. Your attacks became slower and weaker as we fought. While I can reopen my chakra points, you have to get a medic or somebody that knows the body to help you out. Naruto said. What? That's impossible. How could I fall for something so simple? Neji thought as he tried to move his arms, but they wouldn't move. Surrender now, or stand there helplessly as this dead last embarrasses you even more. I haven't even begun to fight seriously. You came into this fight filled with arrogance. Expecting an easy win. I came here with a plan and a counter to your taijutsu. I trained every day from before the sun rose to when the sun went down this past month. What will it be? Will you forfeit or will I have to embarrass the Hyuga clan even more? Naruto asked and walked up to him putting a kunai to Neji. I forfeit. Neji said reluctantly. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki. Genma said and the crowd was stunned. Neji, why do you hate Hinata? She's a nice girl and wouldn't hurt a fly. Naruto said. Because of the caged bird seal. Neji said and it all made sense. Neji, all seals can be broken. I'll let you in on a secret I've learned. Hiashi Hyuga was against your father being given up during the whole Kumo incident. Talk to him and he'll explain things. The clan head isn't the problem in your clan, it's the council. Hiashi has the power to abolish the caged bird seal. I'm sure Hinata would like her cousin back in her life. Naruto said and tapped Neji on his pressure points. What did you do? Neji asked as he was able to move his arms again. I undid the damage to your pressure points. Naruto said. How did you change so quickly in a month? Neji asked. I'm a lump of coal being put under pressure. Naruto said and walked away leaving Neji confused. Stands. Whoa. He just took down Neji without a problem. Ten said. It's like he's a completely different person. Sakura said as she watched Naruto go up to the fighters area. Did we miss Neji's match? Rock Lee asked as he arrived with Might Guy. Yeah, it's over. Ten said. Then Neji must be really strong if he was able to take out Naruto so quickly. Although it looks like Naruto gave him some problems. Might Guy said. No, Neji lost. Ten said. What? Lee said. It's true. Naruto outclassed him and came in with a plan to counter Neji and his gentle fist. He blocked off the pressure points in Neji's arms. Neji had to forfeit due to his arms being useless. Ten said. It doesn't make sense. Naruto shouldn't be this good after a month. Ino said. Given who trained him, this isn't much of a surprise. Might Guy said. Who trained him? Sakura asked. It's not my place to tell. However, just know that if Naruto defeated Neji as easy as you said, then we haven't even seen what he can really do. Guy said. Fighters area. Geez, Naruto. Did you have to win so quickly? Shikamaru asked and Naruto ignored him as he walked up to Gaara. Win your match, but don't kill him. I want to fight you myself. Naruto said and had a stare down with Gaara, but you could feel the tension between them. Mother says your blood is better than the Uchiha. Gaara said with a crazed look on his face. Then don't lose to Sasuke and you can have it. Naruto said and then Gaara released a huge amount of chakra, but his was no match for Naruto's chakra output. What the hell are they? Shikamaru thought. He's got more chakra than Gaara. Tamari thought. Can you two stop? You're cracking the walls around us. Shikamaru said. Wimp. Tamari said. I'll see you in the final match. Naruto said and walked away to take a nap. Time skip. Hours passed by since Naruto went to sleep and he was woken up by a screeching noise. He yawned and stretched, then noticed Sasuke standing on the wall with lighting covering his hand. Sasuke took off at incredible speeds towards Gaara, who was trapped in a sphere of sand. Right before Sasuke could stab Gaara, his feet were stopped by sand. Sasuke was surprised along with Kakashi, and then a giant hand made of sand came from the sphere and repeatedly slammed Sasuke into the wall before he fell unconscious. Winner. Gaara of the Sand. Genma said. Naruto Uzumaki. Come face me. Mother wants your blood. Gaara yelled and the sand sphere went away as Gaara was back to normal. Stands. Okay. Naruto said and stood up, but he was grabbed. I'm calling off the match. You can't win. Kakashi said. Oh, why is that? Naruto asked. Because if Sasuke wasn't able to beat him, I know you can't. Kakashi said. See, that's where you're wrong. I'm stronger than Sasuke and I have quite a bit of tricks up my sleeve. Naruto said. Sorry, but this is for your own good. Genma. Naruto Uzumaki forfeits this match. Kakashi said. No the hell I don't. Naruto said and went up in smoke revealing a log in his place. Relax, Kakashi. Naruto's got this. Asuma said. Did you see what Gaara did to Sasuke? There is no way Naruto stands a chance. Kakashi said. Actually, he does. Might Guy said. How so? Kakashi asked. Simple. He was trained by somebody way out of our league. He defeated Neji like it was nothing. Might Guy said and turned his attention to the fight. Have some faith in your genin, Kakashi. Kurenai said. Naruto unsealed 2 large shuriken and threw them at Gaara who watched as they went from 2 shuriken to about 16. Gaara used his sand to protect himself from them and wasn't ready for the exploding kunai that Naruto snuck in there. The kunai exploded and sent Gaara flying to the wall, but he was saved by his sand. So the sand acts on its own. Naruto thought. Fire style. Fire caterwall. Naruto expelled several dragon-headed fireballs from his mouth to cover the front, left and right side of Gaara. As the dragon heads move in an erratic manner, it makes the jutsu much more difficult to avoid. Gaara once again used his sand to protect him and then once the dragon heads connected, they exploded. Is that all you can do? Gaara asked. Far from it. I'm just testing the speed of your sand. Naruto said. Ninja art. Kunai shadow clone. Naruto threw 2 kunai at Gaara and then they multiplied into 20. Naruto wasn't finished as he went through 4 hand signs. Wind style. Gale palm. Naruto clasped his hands together and wind is compressed then transformed into a powerful gale. He pushed his hand out forward and the wind helped the kunai travel through the air faster, making them more lethal. Gaara once again raised his sand, but a few of them got through and managed to cut through his sand armor. Stands. Whoa. What happened to Naruto? Ino asked. I don't know. He was never this good before this round. Sakura said. Whoever trained him really did a great job. Asuma said. Didn't Kakashi-sensei teach him? Sakura asked. No. From what I heard, Naruto did ask Kakashi for help, but he blew him off so he could train Sasuke for his match with Gaara Instia. Asuma said. Then who trained him? Ino asked. I did. Jiraiya said as he landed behind them. Master Jiraiya. Kurenai said. Lord Jiraiya, it is an honor to see you in your youthfulness again. Might Guy said. Sure. Jiraiya said and Might Guy did his patented nice guy pose. Why did you train him? Kakashi asked. Because you wouldn't. Jiraiya said. Fighting area. So much for your ultimate defense. Must not be that great if I managed to get through it with a few lousy kunai. Naruto said. Shut up. Gaara replied. Gaara used his sand to attack Naruto who was barely getting out of the way resulting in him getting a few cuts and his clothes torn. Naruto saw Gaara have his sand attack from each direction and Naruto was able to use the Shunshin to escape whatever he had planned. Stop running. Gaara said. Gaara then started to transform and Naruto quickly deactivated his resistance seals. The gourd on Gaara's back slowly broke down and began to cover his body, covering his arms and then his face distorting it and giving it Shukaku's features such as the yellow eye and markings. He even grows his one tail from the gourd which itself functions like a normal tail. I see you're getting serious. Naruto said and activated his dojutsu. Stands. This is why I said to call off the match. I don't know what you're trying to prove, Master Jiraiya, but Naruto isn't ready for this kind of opponent. Kakashi said. How would you know? You never trained him. He's perfectly fine. He hasn't even used the skill he knows will work. Jiraiya said. What skill is that? Might Guy asked. Let's just say that this match will be somewhat similar to Lee's match. Only difference is the winner. Jiraiya said. He knows the 8 inner gates. Might Guy said. No, he knows something similar though. Jiraiya said. Lord Jiraiya, are you telling me he knows how to use that technique? Might Guy asked. Yes, but only the first 2 activations. Jiraiya said. I see. Might Guy said. What does he know? Kakashi asked. You'll have to wait and see. Jiraiya said. Can you at least tell us about his dojutsu and what it does? Asuma asked. As far as we know so far, when it's activated genjutsu doesn't work on him and he can see chakra pathways. We're still trying to figure it out. Jiraiya said. Then I think if he has a dojutsu he should be placed under my care. I am training Sasuke in using the Sharingan after all. Kakashi said. No, the Sharingan and his dojutsu are completely different. He's probably not going to want your help anyway. You had 6 months and did nothing with him. Jiraiya said. You said genjutsu doesn't work on him. I'm the genjutsu mistress. Do you think some of my genjutsu will work? Kurenai asked. I doubt it. Unlike the Sharingan, it's impossible to place him under a genjutsu while his dojutsu is activated. A Sharingan user can be placed under a genjutsu, but they'll easily be able to break out of it and counter it. With Naruto's dojutsu it's impossible to place him under it. I don't know if he can cast genjutsu with his eyes though. Jiraiya said. Then the loser is still inferior to me. Sasuke said arrogantly. Yet he's lasting longer against Gaara than you did. Jiraiya said. Fighting area. Time to die Uzumaki. Gaara yelled. Sand Shuriken. Gaara swung his sand-covered arm at Naruto and sent shurikens made from sand towards him at a rapid pace. Naruto pulled out some kunai and started to deflect as many as possible, but he was eventually overtaken by the amount and was cut up severely. Yes, I can smell your blood from over here. Gaara yelled. Shukaku's arm. After gathering a large amount of sand, Gaara formed it into a replica of Shukaku's arm and used it to grab Naruto, then slammed him into the wall repeatedly. Naruto was lucky enough to cover his body in a layer of chakra so the damage was significantly lessened from Gaara's assault. After a few seconds of slamming Naruto into the wall, Gaara released Naruto and watched him fall to the ground. Don't tell me you've given up already. Make me feel alive Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara yelled. Water style. Triple water dragon jutsu. Naruto quickly went through hand signs and formed 3 dragons made of water from the air and launched them at Gaara, who used his sand to protect him. Naruto didn't stop there because he went through more hand signs. Water style. Ripping torrent. Naruto created water that spirals in the palm of his hand and fired it at a high speed towards Gaara, who once again used his sand to protect him. The collision sent water and sand everywhere in the fighting area. I wish I knew a lightning jutsu right now. Naruto thought. Naruto threw 2 exploding kunai at Gaara and watched as they landed right in front of him. Gaara tried to use his sand to protect him, but to his horror it was moving too slow and he was hit with the explosion. If it weren't for him being transformed, he most likely would have died. The smoke cleared after Naruto used the wind style. Great breakthrough, and Gaara was standing there badly burned with a horrified look on his face. Mother. My sand. It failed to protect me. Gaara said. Of course it did. The sand is too heavy to move at the speed it usually does. That's why I used water ninjutsu on you. That sand is useless right now. Naruto said with a smirk. Damn you Uzumaki. Gaara yelled. Gaara allowed the sand to cover his entire upper body, with only his feet remaining uncovered. While his facial features still remain slightly human, both his eyes resemble Shukaku's with the same markings around its body. Naruto noticed that the kanji remained on Gaara's head. Stands. What the hell is that? Ino asked. Seems like Naruto is really pushing Gaara to his limits. Jiraiya said. Do you still think he can handle it? Kurenai asked. Absolutely. Naruto has the best chance at beating Gaara even without my training, and you four know why. Jiraiya said. Can he use it? Asuma asked. Probably. He said during training that he's used it quite a few times, but only when he's overcome with rage. However, he shouldn't have to use it. He wanted me to train him so he wouldn't have to rely on it all the time. Jiraiya said. I see. You wouldn't mind if I trained him sometime, would you? He's the only other person I know in Konoha that has a wind chakra nature. Asuma said. It's up to him. Although I'll recommend him to you since I'm not an expert on wind chakra nature since it's so rare. Jiraiya said. Does he know any wind jutsu other than the one he just used? Asuma asked. He knows a few of them, but I don't think they're as strong as they should be. Jiraiya said and then looked over at Temari and Kankuro, who were looking nervous. I can't believe it. He's hurting Gaara. Temari said. He's close to releasing Shukaku. Kankuro said. Why hasn't the cage given the signal yet? Baki asked. That's because he isn't the cage. Jiraiya said as he appeared behind them. Lord Jiraiya. Baki said. Relax. We already knew about the invasion weeks ago. Jiraiya said. Why aren't you attacking us? Baki asked. Because you're following orders from Orochimaru. A few days ago, a few of my spies found the body of the cage in the desert, and he had a stab wound through the heart from a blade covered in a specific poison. Jiraiya said. So this entire time, it's been Orochimaru giving us orders? Temari asked. Yes. I did some digging around and found out Orochimaru approached your father a month before the Chunin exams about teaming up for an invasion, but when your father declined, Orochimaru ambushed him a few weeks later. We grew suspicious when Rasa didn't show up for a meeting with the third Hokage to try and find a way to help your village get its budget increased again. That's when I sent some of my best spies out to find anything, and they discovered his body. Jiraiya said. Damn it. So what do we do now? Are you going to capture us? Baki asked. No. Baki, I want you to gather as many of the sand shinobi you can gather without making it obvious and help our ninja and Anbu evacuate the village by helping everyone get to the shelter near the Hokage mountain. You two stay here and act normal. Once the invasion starts, take out any sound ninja you can until the Anbu arrives. Jiraiya said. Yes, sir. Also, I should let you know that we have a spy in your Anbu ranks. He's standing behind the other genin with the dog and the Hyuga girl. He was supposed to get a signal that would have him cast a sleeping genjutsu that would put everyone to sleep, and that's when Gaara would release Shukaku, since he comes out whenever Gaara goes to sleep. Baki said. I'll get a squad of Jonin on it. You help us win this invasion and I'm sure the Wind Daimyo will boost your budget again. Jiraiya said. I'll get on it right away. Baki said. Good. Jiraiya said. Wait. What about Gaara? From the way this fight is going, he could release Shukaku at any minute. Kankuro said. He's right. After this transformation is when Shukaku can fully manifest. Temari said. Don't worry. Naruto will handle Gaara. I did prepare him for this after all. Jiraiya said and vanished. Are we really gonna leave a genin to stop Shukaku? Kankuro asked. So far he's proven he can handle it. If things get bad, you two help him from a distance. Baki said and walked away. Fighting area. Stop running away from me, Uzumaki. Gaara yelled as he was trying to grab Naruto with his extended sand arms. Fine. Naruto said and then vanished from sight. Oh, where are? Gaara was cut off from a kunai exploding right in front of him. Gaara was suddenly punched from behind and the man he was just flying around like a human pinball before he finally crashed to the ground. That's not enough to keep him down. Naruto thought. Very interesting, Uzumaki. Show me more. Make me feel alive. Gaara yelled. You asked for it, Naruto said and then looked up at Jiraiya, who nodded. Stands. Master Jiraiya, why did he look up at you? Kurenai asked. Because he's ready to let loose. Jiraiya said. Is he finally about to use it? Might Guy asked. Yes. Jiraiya said. Lee, Ten, Neji. I want you all to pay close attention to what Naruto is about to do. Might Guy said. What is he about to do? Neji asked. Something similar to what Lee did against Gaara. Jiraiya said. A technique that is similar to the 8 inner gates. Might Guy said. What's it called? Ten asked. Fighting area. I hope you don't regret this, Gaara. Naruto said. 7 heavenly breaths. First activation. The first activation caused Naruto's eyes to turn completely white and his body gave off a yellow aura, though it's seen that it was starting to take after the color of Naruto's chakra. This first breath allows Naruto to push towards his body's natural limits, since the bolstered fortitude from the technique lessens pain and reduces fear of self-harm. Second activation. The second activation caused Naruto's body to expand slightly, his muscles becoming distinctly more prominent. In this stage, Naruto will also begin to recover faster, as the activation stimulates the body's natural healing above the normal rate. Add in the healing ability he gets from the 9 tails, he's basically indestructible. Third activation. The third activation caused Naruto's skin to turn red, much like when the Gate of Life is opened. In this stage Naruto can begin to push beyond the body's natural limits in lesser amounts, as the further bolstered natural recovery can largely null the damage that would otherwise occur. Before Gaara could yell again, Naruto vanished and destroyed the ground where he was previously standing. All Gaara felt was pain on his chin and noticed he was up in the air, then he was knocked down to the ground. Lunar Barrage. Once Gaara stood up, Naruto punched Gaara in the gut and released a pulse of chakra from his fist to increase the power of the punch. Upon inflicting the punch, Naruto took advantage of the Gaara's dazed state by following up with a fury of rapid untraceable punches. The punches that make up the barrage are not random, but are carefully thought out. Each one has the purpose of conditioning Gaara into reacting a certain way and forced him to leave himself open for another type of punch. This is why Gaara found it difficult to escape. Naruto ended the combo with a very powerful punch to Gaara's stomach, inflicting a lot of damage and sending rocketing back at very high speed, crashing into the wall. Stands. Holy shit. Ten whispered. That was the most youthful thing I have ever seen in my life. Lee said. Why couldn't I copy his movements? Sasuke thought. Kakashi, I want that technique. Sasuke said. I can't teach you something I know nothing about, Sasuke. Kakashi said. Then I demand that this old fool teaches it to me along with everything he knows. Sasuke said. Kid, I'd watch what you're saying if I were you. Asuma said. He's one of the legendary Sannin and is possibly the strongest shinobi in the village. Kurenai said. Doesn't matter. I will be waiting for him to show up at Training Ground 7. Sasuke said arrogantly. Kid, I'm not teaching you. You may have all the skills, but you're not worth my time. I will never take on a student who is arrogant and thinks everything should be handed to him just because his family died. Jiraiya said. Watch your mouth. Sasuke yelled and went to attack Jiraiya, but before he took one step he was laying on the ground underneath a medium-sized toad. That's your only warning, Jiraiya said. Master Jiraiya, why did you pick to train Naruto? I mean he had no skills or anything other than the shadow clone jutsu. Sakura said. Because he's a lump of coal. Jiraiya said. What does that mean? Sakura asked. Which would you rather have, a lump of coal or a diamond? Jiraiya asked. The diamond, of course. Sakura said. Yeah, anybody with a brain would take the diamond over some lame piece of coal. Ino said. True, but what if that lump of coal turns out to be an even better diamond than the one you picked out? Jiraiya asked. I don't get it. Ino said. Don't worry, not many people do. Like I told Naruto, I would take that lump of coal and turn it into a diamond. Lee, for instance, is also a lump of coal. Like Naruto, he is also being put under pressure and polished. Jiraiya said. Fighting area. That should keep you quiet for a while. Naruto said as he deactivated the 7 heavenly breaths, and once the smoke cleared, Gaara was back to normal, barely conscious. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki. Genma announced. Mother. You didn't protect me. You promised you'd always protect me. Gaara yelled. After Gaara was finished yelling, he released a huge amount of chakra, so Naruto gave him a chakra-enhanced kick, sending him flying out of the stadium. Temari and Kankuro nodded at each other before quickly leaving, giving chase to Gaara to try and stop him from releasing Shukaku. Before anybody could enjoy the moment completely, an explosion was heard from up near the cage booth, and then Sound Ninja started to attack. A purple barrier was formed around the roof and nobody could get inside of it. We're under attack, Ino said. All of you go and help the civilians get to safety. Do not attack any Sand Ninja. They are on our side. Move out, Jiraiya said. I'm going after Gaara, Sasuke said, and then ran off. Damn it, Kakashi. What the hell have you been teaching him? He's more arrogant than before, Jiraiya said, and took out some Sound Ninja that tried to attack him. He'll be fine. Plus, Naruto is probably going to go after Gaara as well. Kakashi said. You don't get it, do you? Gaara is about to unleash the full might of Shukaku and you simply don't care that your student ran off. Jiraiya said. He'll be fine, Lord Jiraiya. Kakashi said. Change of plans, kids. Sakura, Shino, Shikamaru go after Sasuke and bring him back. The rest of you help the civilians get to safety. Jiraiya said. I'll send Pakun with you to track Sasuke's scent. Kakashi said. Gaara, you need to calm down and fight it. You can't release Shukaku. Temari said, and Gaara just groaned in response. It's no use. He's not responding. This is bad, Temari. We can't let him release Shukaku. The Leaf Village will think we're attacking. Kankuro said. I know. Gaara, you have to listen to me. You can't let Shukaku control you. Temari said, and they had to jump out of the way from a kunai. For someone in such a rush, you three sure are slow. Drop the redhead and I'll let you leave alive. Sasuke said. What the hell are you doing? We're on your side, dumbass. Temari said. Yeah, you idiot. Go fight the Sound Ninja that are attacking the village. Kankuro said. I could care less about that village. If they can't defend themselves from a couple of Sound Ninja, then they deserve to die. I'm here for a rematch and I'll take you both on if I have to. Sasuke said. Go ahead, Temari. I'll handle him. Kankuro said. No, Kankuro. Temari said. Listen, Temari. We need to get Gaara as far away from the village as possible. That's our main objective. I can handle him, Kankuro said. Be careful, Temari said, and leapt away with Gaara. Don't think so, Sasuke said and went to jump after her, but Kankuro appeared in front of him. You have to get through me. Kankuro said and kicked him away. Chunin Exam Stadium. What's up with that barrier? Naruto asked as he dodged a kunai strike from a sound ninja and kicked him away. Naruto, I need you to help evacuate the civilians and get them to safety. Kakashi said. I need to go and stop Gaara. Naruto said. No, Sasuke can handle it. Kakashi said. If you think Sasuke can handle a Jinchuriki that's unstable, then you're more of an idiot than I thought. Naruto said and kicked a sound ninja away. That's an order. Kakashi said. No, Naruto, go after Gaara. We've already sent a team after him. You should be able to catch up to them. Make sure Sasuke gets back to the village, and if you have to, use force. Jiraiya said and Naruto nodded then vanished. Why do you think Naruto can handle Gaara? Kakashi asked. You need to get your head out of his. Sasuke isn't strong enough to defeat Gaara if he releases Shukaku. Jiraiya said. Oh, and what can Naruto do if he releases Shukaku? Kakashi asked. Naruto can summon the boss toad. Now, I'm going to the barrier to help the Hokage. Take out as many sound ninja you can and then meet up with the Anbu commander for further instructions. Jiraiya said and walked away. Naruto. Naruto was running through the forest dodging any sound ninja and took them out with ease. He was surprised at how easy it was to take them out and figured Orochimaru must not care about his ninja at all if they're that weak. After a while of fighting and rushing towards Gaara, Naruto came across Kankuro, who was sitting by a tree in pain. Kankuro, what happened? Naruto asked. It's Sasuke. I tried to stall him, and when I had him beat, he had these weird markings on his body and completely destroyed me. Kankuro said. Can you move? Naruto asked. I'll need some help. He's going after Gaara. Temari's trying to calm Gaara down, and if Sasuke manages to get to him, then he'll release Shukaku and we're not strong enough to stop him. Kankuro said as Naruto helped him up. Don't worry. If Shukaku is released, I can handle him. As for Temari, I think she should be able to hold Sasuke off until we get there. Actually, there was a search party sent after him. Did you see them? Naruto asked. Yeah, I told them to go ahead. Kankuro said as they were jumping through the trees. Who was it? Naruto asked. The useless pink-haired girl, the lazy bum, and the creepy bug boy. Kankuro said and Naruto snickered at that. Sakura, Shino and Shikamaru. Not a bad team, but they could have sent more. Naruto said. Wait, there's Temari. Kankuro said, pointing to Temari laying on a tree branch, and they landed next to her, causing her to point a kunai at them. Relax, Temari. It's just us. Naruto said and she lowered the kunai. Sasuke got me. I had him and then he used a fire jutsu against my wind, then used some kind of jutsu that had marks on his face and completely caught me off guard. Temari said. Yeah, that thing caught me off guard as well. Kankuro said. The others went ahead. Temari said. Then I'm going. Naruto said. Naruto, please don't hurt Gaara. It's not his fault. Temari said. I know. It's your father's fault and whoever put the seal on him. Naruto said. What do you mean? I get it's my father's fault, but how is it the fault of somebody who put the seal on him? Kankuro asked. Because Gaara's seal is horrible. I know a bit about sealing and Pervy Sage taught me one that will work. After I get a chance to defeat Gaara, I'll fix his seal. He'll still have his instant sand defense, but he won't be unstable and will actually be able to sleep. Naruto said. I don't know. How can we be sure you know what you're doing? Kankuro asked. It's either that or I let him run on a rampage and possibly get you two killed. Naruto said. Do it. Temari said. Temari. Kankuro said. No, Kankuro. If this is Gaara's chance at being normal again and no longer being labeled a killing machine, then I'll take it. Temari said. Fine. If you mess this up then I'll come after you. Kankuro said. I'll keep that in mind. Naruto said and vanished. Let's heal up before we go. Temari said and Kankuro nodded. You like him, don't you? Kankuro asked. Who? Temari asked. Naruto. Kankuro said. Not in the way you're thinking. He's a good friend. He showed me around the village a few times. I can't date him or anything, it wouldn't work out. Temari said. Are you going to tell him? Kankuro asked. I don't think I need to. He probably already knows that and feels the same way. Besides, that Hyuga girl has her eyes on him. Temari said. The quiet one. Huh. Never would have guessed. Kankuro said. Naruto. Naruto was quickly jumping through the trees trying to get to Gaara quickly and stop him from transforming. He heard the sound of Sasuke's Chidori and then heard an explosion. He channeled chakra into his legs to increase his speed, and when he made it to the area where Gaara and Sasuke were fighting, Gaara was already in his second stage and Sasuke was pretty much defeated. Naruto saw the same marks on his body Kankuro and Temari told him about. Gaara launched himself at Sasuke preparing to end him, and Naruto jumped in and gave him a chakra-enhanced kick to the face. Naruto. Sakura exclaimed. Man, am I glad to see you. Shikamaru said. Grab Sasuke and leave. Naruto said. No way. We're taking him on together. Sakura said, and then Gaara yelled, causing everyone to look on in shock as he finally released Shukaku. Like I said, take Sasuke and go back to the village. I can handle him. Naruto said. Naruto, there is no way you can handle that thing alone. Yeah, you've gotten stronger over this month and can possibly say that you're the strongest genin in the village, but this is on a completely different level. We should wait for a Jonin squad to show up. Shikamaru said. Just leave. I can handle this. Naruto said, then bit him thumb and went through hand signs. Summoning jutsu. You again. What is it this time, kid? Gamabunta asked. Rescue team. Is that a giant toad? Sakura asked. It is. I think we should get back. This is about to get messy. Shikamaru said. I'll grab Sasuke. Shino said. Aren't we going to help him? Sakura asked. No. Naruto can handle this himself. Shikamaru said, and they leapt away from the fight. Naruto vs Gaara. Do you not see the Shukaku sand spirit in front of us? We need to take him down. Naruto said. A tailed beast. Why is it that the blonde summoners always gave me fight-tailed beasts? You're lucky I like you, kid. Gamabunta said. Play possum jutsu. Gaara forced himself to go to sleep and relinquished full control to Shukaku. Oh yeah, I'm finally free, baby. Here we go. I hope you're ready to die. Let's do this. Shukaku yelled. Get ready, Chief Toad. Naruto said. I'm way ahead of you. Gamabunta said. Wind style. Drilling air bullets. Shukaku fired multiple bullets of highly compressed air at Gamabunta, who leapt into the air to dodge them. Shukaku didn't let up and continued shooting his jutsu at Gamabunta, who had no choice but to counter. Water style. Liquid bullets. Gamabunta fired multiple bullets of water from his mouth and they collided into the air bullets from Shukaku, resulting in an explosion of water. Gamabunta pulled out his sword, and when he was close enough, he cut the arm off of Shukaku, making him yell out in pain. Kid, we need to wake up the boy on Shukaku's head. It's the only way to defeat him. Gamabunta said. I don't think that's possible. The sand defense is instantly, and now that Shukaku's in charge right now, it's even faster than me at top speed. Naruto said. Well, I can't keep running around all day. If I wanted to do that, I would have stayed behind and chased the tadpoles back at home. Gamabunta said. We'll figure something out. Just keep. What the hell is that? Naruto asked, pointing to Shukaku's purple sphere in front of its mouth. That is something we do not want to get hit by. Hang on tight. Gamabunta said. Tailed Beast Bomb. Shukaku fired his jutsu at Naruto, but missed because Gamabunta leapt high up in the air. The tailed beast bomb kept going until it exploded and destroyed a mountain that was far away from the fighting, but everyone near the fight felt the shockwave from it. Holy crap! Naruto said. This is dangerous. We need to stop him now. Any ideas? Gamabunta asked. Pervy Sage said that you can use oil. Think you can give me some? Naruto asked. I like your style, kid. Gamabunta said. Toad oil bullet. Fire style. Flame bullet. Toad flame bullet. Naruto combined his jutsu with Gamabunta's oil and created a huge flame that sent Shukaku flying backwards. Naruto went through hand signs and used the water style, ripping torrent jutsu on Shukaku's legs, making them turn into a mud-like substance. Shukaku was about to use a tailed beast bomb again, but Naruto activated his dojutsu and did something unexpected. Shukaku suddenly stopped in his tracks and seemed paralyzed. Naruto didn't know what happened, but took advantage of the situation. Chief Toad, throw me at him. We can use this moment to wake him up. Naruto said. Are you crazy? Who am I kidding? I'll do it. Gamabunta said and threw Naruto at Gaara. Wakey wakey. Naruto said. Naruto headbutts Gaara, forcing him to wake up, and then Shukaku's body starts to crack before it eventually crumbles away. Naruto and Gaara both fell to the ground, but Naruto managed to catch Gaara mid-air and they landed safely. No. Stay back. Gaara said with fear in his eyes. Relax. I'm not gonna hurt you. I want to help you. Naruto said. Leave me alone. Gaara said and willed his sand to attack, but nothing happened. Listen, me and you are alike. The pain of suffering at the hands of the village you grew up in. The angry stares and cold looks. You're not alone. I have one inside of me as well. Naruto said and showed Gaara his seal as Temari and Kankuro landed next to them. Did you fix him yet? Temari asked. Not yet. I'm about to. Gaara, I'm gonna fix your seal so you can sleep and not have to live the angry looks and cold stares anymore. Naruto said. Gaara nodded after looking at him for a few seconds. Naruto looked at his seal and instantly frowned when he saw it. The seal wasn't even something you used to contain something like a tailed beast. Naruto went through a few hand signs before he placed his hand on Gaara's seal. Gaara grunted in pain, which was new to him, so he tried to fight Naruto off of him, but Temari and Kankuro held him down. After 10 minutes, Gaara's old seal was destroyed and a new one took place. Naruto placed a 6-symbol seal on Gaara, with the middle part of the seal being the lock to the seal where everything connects. It wasn't as strong as Naruto's seal, but it was perfect for holding Shukaku. That should do it, Naruto said and sat down to catch his breath. That's it. I was expecting something more flashy. Kankuro said. It wasn't that difficult. Like I said, Pervy Sage taught me this seal and we practiced it every day for the past few weeks until I got it right 10 times in a row. The previous seal was horrible and whoever did it should be ashamed of themselves. Naruto said. What makes you say that? Temari asked. It was basically like putting Shukaku into a storage scroll. Naruto said. That would never work. Temari said. Exactly. Gaara must have some serious willpower if he was able to force Shukaku to stay in the seal while he was awake as well. Naruto said. So is it safe for him to sleep now? Temari asked. Look at him. Naruto said, and when they did, Gaara was completely out. He looks so peaceful. Temari said. Yeah, it's almost as if he was never a rampaging psychopath. Kankuro said. Shut up. Temari yelled and bashed him over the head with her fan. I feel bad for whoever dates her in the future. Naruto thought. Naruto. Shikamaru said and landed next to him. What's up? Naruto asked. Is it finished? Shikamaru asked. Yeah, it's finished. Naruto said. How did you stop that thing? Shikamaru asked. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Temari said. I honestly don't know. I'll have to talk to Pervy Sage about it. Naruto said. Nobody move. A voice yelled and they looked to see Sasuke running at them with his Chidori activated. Wind style. Gale Wind Jutsu. Temari swung her giant fan and created a huge amount of air that crashed into Sasuke and sent him back into a tree while canceling out his Chidori. Nice. Naruto said and Temari grinned. Thanks. Temari said. Listen, we should really get back to the village and help. Shikamaru said. Right. You grab Sasuke and head back. You two should take Gaara and head home. I'll let your sensei know what's going on. Naruto said. Why do I have to grab Sasuke? Shikamaru asked. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you fought a gigantic demon on top of a gigantic toad and fixed a seal. Naruto said sarcastically. Come on, you big baby. Just do it. Temari teased and Shikamaru groaned. This is such a drag. Shikamaru said and grabbed Sasuke before leaving. Naruto. Temari said. Yeah. Naruto asked and Temari gave him a hug. Thank you. Temari said and Naruto lightly hugged her back. You're welcome. Now, get out of here. Naruto said and Temari nodded before kicking Kankuro. Wake up, Kankuro. We're leaving. Temari said and they both grabbed Gaara before leaving. I better get promoted after this. Naruto thought and left. Next day, I figured you'd want to be at the funeral with everyone else. Jiraiya said to Naruto as they were both leaning on the same post at Training Ground 7. I didn't think it would be smart for me to be there anymore. I was there and not even his funeral was enough to keep ninja and civilians from glaring at me. Naruto said. He didn't tell you about your parents for your protection. They were both well-known ninja who helped in our victory during the Third Shinobi War. He didn't want you to accidentally slip up and say it to the wrong person and then you get captured by their enemies. Jiraiya said. Then he should have just told me that. Instead he decided to blatantly lie to my face and then tell me it's pointless to worry about that. Leaving me on the streets for 2 years and then showing favoritism while I have to struggle to get by. It sucks that he died, but for some reason I'm finding it hard to feel anything towards it. Naruto said. Don't beat yourself up over it. Everyone's different in how things affect them. Jiraiya said and then it started to rain. So now what? Naruto asked. Now, we need a new Hokage. We need a strong leader. Somebody that believes in the will of fire and will lead the village the right way. Jiraiya said. So are you going to take the title of Hokage? Naruto asked. No, I like to travel and being Hokage isn't my style. Jiraiya said and there was a brief silence until Naruto broke it. Pervy Sage, I found out another ability of my dojutsu. Naruto said. Really? What is it? Jiraiya asked. I can cast a genjutsu that looks like it shuts someone's body down for 30 seconds. It's how I beat Shukaku when I had to fight him. Naruto said. That's kind of disturbing. Do you think it can cast any other genjutsu? Jiraiya asked. I don't know. That was the first time I did it. Naruto said. We'll have to work on that then. For now, I'll give you 2 days to rest up. Not many genin can say that they managed to beat a tailed beast. Jiraiya said. I guess you're right. Naruto said, and then the rain stopped. However, I need answers. How exactly were you able to figure out the first 3 activations for the 7 heavenly breaths so quickly? I thought you only were able to use 2 of them. Jiraiya said. I never slept when you sent me home. I used my shadow clones while I meditated and had them practice every night until they had them done. Compared to the 8 inner gates, it focuses on gathering oxygen into your lungs. I had my shadow clones hold their breath underwater for as long as they could, and then we tried the technique.